Hi everyone and welcome to my reading vlog. In this video I'm going to be reading Normal People by Sally Rooney. A lot of people talk about this book and I thought it was time that I read it. So the way this video is going to work is that I'm just going to take you with me while I read the book. Just a little bit of context. This isn't a book I've read before, but I know there's a Hulu series on it and I think I have watched like the first 4 episodes, if anything. I only watched the episodes of when they were still in high school, and then I know they went into university, but the guy struggled a little bit more than the girl, but that is literally all I know. Even though I have seen a teeny bit of the series, I feel like a majority or like the big bulk of the importance of the book or the show is past what I saw anyways. So I hope you enjoy and let's see how I feel about this. All right, it is literally 2 days later. I forgot that I was filming this video in the first place, but here's a little update. I am this far along, so I have been reading a little bit at work, hence me forgetting to film this because I can't really film at work, but I am just about getting to September 2012. I have a couple of thoughts. First one is, I wonder what made like Colin feels so not popular, because I think that's more a little bit with external circumstances, but what made him feel so comfortable in high school and what was it different in college? Like, did he grew up with the same people in elementary school and middle school and he just happened to be in the popular crowd, and then in college when you kind of have to start from the beginning, like what happened there? Was that it? Like, or was it something that he developed over time? Like, that's just the first thought. Second thought is, a lot of times you see Marianne just really think very highly of Colin, and he clearly doesn't think as highly of himself. That just reminds me of when, you know, we are our harshest critic and there's people that literally look at you and think great things, like, oh, this person has great fashion, their hair is always put together, stuff like that. And it's like, you never really know what other people think about you unless they feel comfortable enough to share it with you. I want to talk about their breakup because I just read their breakup, or why they broke up. And honestly, this part infuriates me so much because clearly Colin wasn't walking in to break up with Marianne. He was going to ask her if he could live with her over the summer. And then all of a sudden, the conversation got away from him. And then next thing you know, they're broken up. And then he says like, oh, so I guess you're going to want to see other people. Like, I think the most genuine thing you can do for yourself and your partner is to be honest about your feelings. Like, I understand that it's very hard for some people, and communicating is something that is difficult to do so, especially with tough conversations. And I don't know if that's just me, because I've always been very upfront with my feelings because I care enough about them to let them know my feelings. And I guess that's just my perspective on it. But when I don't care about someone, I don't tell them my feelings because I don't think they deserve to know how I feel about a certain situation. Communication is something that people struggle with, but it just made me really frustrated because clearly he didn't want to break up with her, and then they just ended up breaking up for no reason. In this scenario, Colin would have been so happy living the summer with Marianne and finding a job up in Dublin, but that didn't happen because didn't jump over the fear of going back and be like, hey, hold on, wait, no, this isn't what I meant. Because he says something like, oh, it's too late to say that I want to stay for the summer. It's like, no, it's never too late. Nothing is written in stone, especially your feelings. You could just say, no, that's not what I meant. Like, you know what I mean? That part just frustrated me. But yeah, I'm this far along. I would say halfway, a little bit less than halfway, and we'll see. I'll keep reading. I've been listening to the audiobook all morning and on my drive to work, so I just want to give a little update. I don't know where I am because I haven't like gone through the physical book, but I am on July, I think 2013, whatever year after Rob passing was, which A, it's crazy what happened to Rob, and then B, I don't know, I feel like this book is so depressing. Maybe it's because summer is just starting and I'm really like excited, you know, spring, whatever, but like this book is just so pessimistic, and I don't know if I like it in a, you know, it's a social commentary about life. Like, that's how I get it, that's how it's supposed to be, right? Because life actually kind of sucks when you really think about it, and most of the time we're just striving for happiness. But I don't know. I mean, it might be a little too pessimistic for me. Maybe it's because I don't relate to what they're going through. I genuinely don't have anything else to comment on it other than this is a really sad book, and I'm gonna like it as much as other people claim to love it. Okay, I am at work, so excuse my whispering. I'm reading. I'm on page 190. They're finally learning how to communicate each other when they're like dancing at some club, and apparently Connell leaves to go smoke a cigarette, and he was like, I asked you to come and you said no, and then Marianne was like, you didn't ask me to come. They're like, oh well, that's what I meant. They were like, oh, I didn't hear you, whatever. It's like, oh my gosh, these people are starting to communicate. Is this like a turning point for us? We'll see. Okay, I'm still at work and I'm definitely gonna finish this book while I'm here, but I just read the part of, I'm like this close to finishing, and I just read the part where Marianne's brother hits her and like, or whatever, with the door. She's bleeding. She calls Connell and she's like, I don't even know why I called you, like I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. And it's like, they don't outwardly say it, but clearly they are each other's like safe person, like they feel the safest with each other. And it's just like so nice to see, kind of, you know, that Connell cares so much about her and she feels so safe with him to, you know, call him when she's in trouble. I am in the last chapter. I'm this much left. 7 months later, February 2015, the last chapter. I feel so bad that I'm like whispering while I'm explaining this, but the end of the second to last chapter was so cute. How he's like, no one's gonna hurt you anymore, and she feels relieved. Like, that is what you want in a relationship, is to feel safe and relief and trust that this person has their best interest or your best interest. It's just like, it's cute. I love a good romance, so I'm such a sucker for romance, so all these cute parts are just adorable. Okay, hold on, I haven't started reading. I have some predictions. Is Marianne gonna get pregnant? Will she? Is that what's gonna happen? Is that why it's 7 months later? I haven't read anything, but we'll see. I don't know, I just got that thought. Okay, so I have officially finished reading Normal People. I read the book and then I let a couple of time pass, so it's actually been a couple of weeks, just because I feel like oftentimes your initial reaction to a book is a little bit different to when you let it sit there and you think about the characters and you think about the writing, etc. So I have written down my thoughts. I guess I should start with an overall rating. I really don't want to do this because I didn't love or even like the book. I feel like that is so controversial, but I have to say it. I had to give it a rating. I think I'd give it 2.5. I didn't like the book. I'm so sorry. I know there's so much hype around this book. I know people love it. This is people's favorite book. This has changed people's lives type of favorite book, and I just didn't. I thought this book was going to be so much more than what I actually read. I thought it was okay, but I definitely did not change my life, and I definitely didn't like do anything special. I honestly go back and forth between this specific thought, but I just feel like the book is trying really hard to be what it's trying to do. Like, I feel like it's trying really hard to be like different and poetic and meaningful and not your typical book. Like, I feel like it's trying too hard at those things. To me personally, I feel like if your book is special, it shouldn't feel like it's trying. It would just be special. Also, this book actually genuinely was making me depressed. While I was reading this, I was depressed as I was reading this book. I would be fine, and then I would open the book, and then I would be so perpetually sad. It was depressed. I don't hate the book, but I wouldn't be recommending it to anyone anytime soon. I understand this is supposed to be different. This is supposed to be moments about normal people, so obviously not everything is going to be super exciting and fast-paced like a bunch of other books. So I was willing to look past how slow-paced it was. Putting that aside, I just really felt like the book was mild and boring, and I didn't relate to the characters at all. And maybe that's the problem. People love this book because they relate to the characters. Actually, now that I'm talking about this, I did not enjoy this book at all. It talked a lot about complex issues, but I felt like it didn't even go in depth into them, so we couldn't really explore those themes properly, which added to the boring part of it, I guess. And when it wasn't boring, it was super, super depressing. It's also ironic that I could not relate to these characters at all when this is supposed to be a book about characters that are supposed to be more like me than any other book, right? Because I'm just a regular person. So I am so sorry. I did not love this book. I'm happy I read it. I don't have the curiosity of what the hype is all about, but I didn't love it. I might watch the series and see if that changes my mind at all. I think I'm good. This is gonna stay on my bookshelf and I probably won't pick it up again. I'm so sorry to disappoint if you loved this book. It just wasn't for me, and that's fine. We all have our different preferences. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it, give a little like, give a little subscribe. And yeah, thank you so much. See you later.